You're listening to the Happy Workaholic Podcast. I'm your host, Kellyanne Gorman. This show was once about business, LinkedIn, and my life with an autoimmune disease. And then one day I found out I was misdiagnosed, so I had to switch things up a bit. Life is so short, and when you're given a second chance, you better believe I'm going to take it, celebrate it, and share it with you. I'm on a mission to help women take their business and life to that next level they deserve to be at. This show is intended to elevate your mind, upgrade your business, enhance your life, and become part of a positive and uplifting community. Inspiration, motivation, and determination are what got me to where I am today, and I cannot wait to share these amazing stories of other female entrepreneurs who will be featured on the show. If you have a story or brand you want to share, send me a message on Facebook and Instagram today. You can find me at The Happy Workaholic. I would love to connect with you. Do you want a live chat during this episode? Make sure you're listening on iHeartRadio. I'm here to remind you to work hard, stay humble, follow your dreams, and never, ever give up. Thanks for taking the time to subscribe to the Happy Workaholic Podcast. And now let's get into today's show. Hey everyone, happy Friday and welcome back to a brand new show. This is episode number 173. And if you are new to the show, welcome. We are diving deep into podcasting today. If you don't follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Happy Workaholic, I've been asking all of my followers what questions I can ask regarding podcasting. So I just want to say one quick thing, which I'm going to mention again later. I have a huge goal of getting 200 reviews for this podcast on iTunes/Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, desktop, mobile. When you're done with this episode, if you have any input for me, if you want to hear more of shows like this, if you want to hear more of something else, if you just love hearing my lovely voice, or maybe my fridge that just decided to make some odd noises in the background, feel free to leave those on my reviews. I would really, really appreciate it if you could rate, review, subscribe. But just by taking 2 minutes out of your day to leave me a review would seriously mean so much to me. And I am on a mission to get 200 reviews by my 200th episode. So we don't have that much longer to go. So if you could do that, tag me on Facebook and Instagram when you do that. I will send you a little treat as a thank you. But let's get into today's show. So this is episode number 173, as I just mentioned, and episode 115 that I did a while back, obviously, was all about how to launch a podcast, because as a podcast host, coach, and producer, my God, I can't talk. And I've already had a coffee. I've been up since 4:45 and it's 7 something right now. I get questions all the time on social media, on my LinkedIn, on my Facebook, on my Instagram. How do you launch a podcast? How do you launch a podcast? So I created an episode for you to learn how to launch a podcast. So tune back to episode 115 and you can learn all my tips and tricks and what I did there. When I started this show about 2.5 years ago, I did not know what the hell I was doing. I was on YouTube, I was on Google, and I just figured this shit out. And here I am. Now it's turned into a business. So that's incredible, number one. Number two, I want to make it easier for everybody else who wants a podcast and maybe doesn't have a budget. Like I did not have a budget. I had $0 to spend because I was going through chemo at the time. And so I just needed to figure it out. And I was on a mission to share my story so that I could help other patients out there. And that's how my whole show began. So again, episode 115 is all about how to launch a podcast. All of these episodes will be in the show notes as well. Everything I'm going to be talking about today, you can check the show notes for links and more info on everything that's going to be discussed throughout this episode, because I have 4 pages of notes to go through, because I wanted to make sure that I did as much research as I possibly could to answer all the questions that I got precisely. So, second episode, 155. That is an episode where you're going to want to listen to in regards to how to market and monetize your show. And this can be from the very beginning. You can start getting paid from day one. And I feel like not a lot of people are talking about that. They think that they have to invest all this time in recording great content and episodes, and like hopefully a few years down the road, you're going to start making money. No, that's wrong. You have to be creative, strategic, different, stand out. And there are so many ways for you to start generating income from your podcast from the very first episode. The top 3 ways that you can make money from a show are driving traffic to your site, your website, so you want to make sure you have one of those, and a shop page, which is where all your affiliate links will live. That's 2. And 3, you are getting paid by brands, sponsorships, commercials per episode. Big brands are paying for your audience. They're not paying for anything else. They want to get their product in front of new eyes and ears. Ears, obviously, here because it's a podcast. So those are the 3 ways that you can make money from a show. And you can start making money from day one. You launch a podcast and you have 1 million affiliate links. I have a client right now, I think she has about 20, and we haven't even finalized her scripts yet. And she's got about 20 affiliate links. Can I just tell you, once this show launches, she is going to make so much money just from sharing these incredible, I can't discuss like what types of products yet because it's a top secret show, but it's one very specific market, and her followers will be following her for this specific thing. And they want to get those products that she's going to be talking about because they're incredible and they're saving a lot of things. I can't discuss anything else, but she has, I think, about 20 I have in her Word doc already for her. And that's incredible. Keep sharing what you love. Share your story, share your products, make some money on the side. My friend that does my hair, I just set up Amazon links for her because she keeps recommending all these products to her clients. I'm like, they're in your chair and they're going to buy it. Why aren't they buying it from you? So I set up an Amazon store for her. The link is in her Instagram bio. I'll actually put that there. So if you need any amazing hair products, you need to check those out, because her and her cousin who lives in Vegas, this is total side note, by the way, that do my hair, have taken my hair from jet black to very, very blonde, and my hair is still intact. So shout out to them. I'll put their Instagrams there so you can, if you need some hair tips in Vegas or San Diego, those are your girls. But I set up Amazon for her, and I linked all the products that her clients are using. Why wouldn't she have those? She doesn't need a website. She just needs a link in her Instagram bio. So that's what we did. And now she's going to start making money from all the products that are so great for your hair and the ones that she's recommending. And now her clients can just shop while they're in the chair, while the foils are in their head. Like, how amazing is that? So anything affiliate links, any affiliate marketing, that's huge. Getting sponsors right away, that takes time, but you never know. I've had sponsors DM me on Instagram and pay me in full in like 2 minutes. And I've said that a couple times because it's like honestly insane. But that's what happens. And then, you know, depending on what world you live in online, you can create packages when you launch series, things like that. But driving traffic to your website, getting new clients, affiliate marketing, and paid spots, paid commercial spots. Those are 3 ways that you can be making money from your show from the very beginning. And I feel like it's a misconception that you have to wait and put in all this work. Granted, in the beginning when I launched, that wasn't my purpose and that wasn't my brand at the time, but now it is. So tune back to episode 155 for all the notes on how to market and monetize. And this is not just for somebody beginning. This is for somebody that's trying to take their show to the next level. It's very important to keep these things in mind. So those are 2 episodes I want you to listen to. Now we're going to dive deep into 173, because today I am listing, well, I should say I've already listed in my 4 pages of notes here. I really didn't want to miss a thing. First of all, thank you for all of those questions that were sent to me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, in my inbox, on my website. I have them all. And the ones that contacted me first with kind of specific questions, there's 5 of you. So Noelle, Francesca, Life of a Radiohead, Chris and Brittany, I went through all of your business, your social media, like a lot of, well, I should just say some businesses I know, but some of your social media to really give you an in-depth answer of what you should be doing and how you can do it. So I hope you appreciate my feedback. I just wanted to make sure that I really did my research and investigated like what it is that you do and how I can actually help you. So I have pages and pages of notes, but stay tuned for those. And then I have a ton on sponsorship and collabing, and that I answered a little bit. So you want to tune back to 155. But in this episode, I'm answering more in depth because I got so many questions about making money and sponsorships and collabing and all that fun stuff. So first, this is going to be 2 parts. So first, I'm going to discuss some of my thoughts for you, and then the second is the questions, and then I'm going to answer them specifically for the 5 that were submitted first. So let's dive in. Number 1, I've always said this, there are no rules in podcasting. You can be as creative, as strategic, and as different as you want. You make it your show. It's your baby. Nobody can tell you what to do. 2, it's okay to change. If you need to rebrand down the road, it's okay. If you launched with a host, it didn't work out, you let your audience know, it's okay. Move forward. I obviously did a rebrand. When I launched this show, it was all about business linked into my life with an autoimmune disease. I no longer have that. So it transformed into a show for your mind, body, and business, and how I can turn that nightmare of a story into positive changes. And by sharing my story, I hope to inspire others personally and professionally. You can work through an illness. You can fight your doctors. You can become a quote-unquote attorney, which I will be next year, but put together 6 medical malpractice legal cases. You could do anything you want, and I just hope to inspire others so that they can go and do whatever they want in their life with no questions asked. Like, just make it happen. Like, you can do whatever the hell you set your mind to, and if somebody tells you no, thank them for their input and walk away. So another thing that you want to do is track your growth for your show. I have an awesome document. It's an Excel document that I use every first of the month to track my growth for all my social media channels and my show. You want to see what's working. So if you want to grab that document, it's actually on my website under business mindset and organizational tools. You just sign up for my email list and then it gets sent right to you. If you don't want to sign up for my email list, just contact me and I can just email it to you. It's totally fine. That will also be in the show notes. Again, everything I'm mentioning will be in the show notes. So tracking your growth, once you have a dashboard on your podcast host or on your app, you will see your stats. So I'm extremely organized. So every first of the month, I back up my computer. I pull out my external hard drive. I do all my end of month stats. I do this for all my clients as well as myself. It's just something I've always done. I like to see the numbers in front of me. Excel gives me anxiety from previous careers. So it's very simple. There's no formula. You can actually just plug in the number and then you can see where you're going with the show, see what's working and what's not working. And you want to just keep it simple. Use apps that are free like IFTTT, which I should literally be their spokesperson for. I have formulas that I've created to automate my social media. My hub is Instagram. Everything else gets filtered out all over the internet from there. Podcast episodes that are going to filtering to my Pinterest. Right now, I kind of took like a little break from social media, but usually I'm pushing like 100,000, like 96,000 per month on Pinterest. Pinterest is not social media. It's a search engine optimization tool, and it's just like Google. It's just like YouTube. Get your content on Pinterest. And if you need help with that, my friend Bree is launching a program, so reach out to me if you want information on that because she's a genius at Pinterest. But that's very important. Keep it simple. Use apps. Have things automated for you. Post once and then use your time to answer and engage and create community around your show or before you launch. and start something off like that. But just keep it simple. Make sure you're tracking things and just keep these thoughts in your mind so that you're not stressed when you go to launch. Just do it with ease and you're going to be so much happier. Speaking of keeping it simple, I was actually on the phone with a client the other day and I was explaining to her my system. So, because I'm like so over the top organized and I like to keep things simple, short and sweet, keep it moving. So everything I do is in my notes section on my phone. I have lists of hashtags. I have hashtags for different posts on my Instagram. I have hashtags for different posts on my stories. You can have 30 on your feed. You can have 11 in your stories. If I'm trying to push out something hard on my stories, you better believe those 11 hashtags are hidden behind every little GIF you see on my stories. And that is how I get people in my inbox and in my DMs. That's how I create conversations. I just want to share my story. I want to share what's going on. I'm like obsessed with meal prep. I'm all about, feeding my brain with correct foods like brain fuel and gut healing. And if I'm like so passionate and talking about that, I want to talk to others that feel the same. So I have hashtags that I use specifically hidden in my stories so that it's not obnoxious all over the place. Those live in my notes section on my phone and I copy and I paste. When I want to send emails, I want to pitch people, I have messages that I send through DMs, all of that fun stuff. They're all in my notes. Granted, I'm not being obnoxious and I'm, doing the copy paste and just sending to the world. Like I've already created a relationship with people, or I'm messaging them because I want to create a relationship. I want to see where they're at with their time, if they're able to give me 30 minutes for an interview, or if they have a product, brand, or service like I really think that you guys as my audience would really appreciate, then I reach out to them. I have something very generic, but I customize it for each person. If I sat down and emailed somebody different every time, like I just literally do not have the time for that, and you don't either. Save your time and your energy and your money and just keep it simple and draft something up generic and then customize it as you send it to somebody that you're pitching or guests you want on your show or just anybody that you want to communicate, and then customize it. It's just so much simpler. You save so much time doing things like this. So really take my advice when it comes to things like that. When you want to launch, a great strategy is really to launch with 3 to 4 episodes. That's how I launch. That's how I launch all my client shows. So, even if you have 2 or 3, but you want to have a little library for them, or you can just launch with like a whole series depending on your strategy. You can have a Facebook group when you launch. You can have an email list, capture those emails before you launch. You can have, private group for feedback before you even launch. Maybe you already have a Facebook group and you want to get their input before the rest of the world hears it. Go ahead and do something like that. And then when it comes time to take a break with your show, let your audience know. I've done that. I think I've taken a break once, like a little more than like a couple weeks. I honestly would have to look back because I can't remember. But podcasting for 2.5 years straight is a job, my friends. It is a job, especially when you have guests. I'm pushing out 4 new series over the fall and winter. And one of them is the I Chose This Life series, which features other female entrepreneurs. I've already done 2 seasons of that. I've interviewed over 20 women. I've pushed out solo shows sometimes 3 times a week. That's a lot of content. That is a lot of work. That's a lot of production. That's a lot of writing. That's a lot of talking. That's just a lot. So sometimes you need to take a break. Listen, we all have crazy lives. It's okay to take a break. Just let your audience know. Or if you can't, post on social media, if something, I don't want to say horrific, but like if you just need a break, take the break you need because you're going to come back stronger, and everybody needs a break. Trust me, I need a break right now, but which is why I'm like pulling back on like a lot of social media. I'm pulling back on not interviewing people right now. I'm pulling back on a lot of projects so that I can just create and take that time for me. And I can tell you, like, it's so different just recording solo shows again because I'm so used to interviewing people. I needed this break. I can feel it. Like I feel a lot more at ease, and everybody needs that. So just don't feel stressed about it. Just freaking do it. And then just let your audience know, of course. When you have a break, something that maybe I would suggest is have content ready if you want to keep your show going. I know there's a lot of you listening that have a million Facebook Lives, YouTube videos, all that. You can repurpose all of that into a podcast episode and push it out as a series. Say you did a series on Facebook Lives. Why can't you turn that into a podcast series and repurpose it all? And boom, you have like a month or 2 months worth of audio content. You can have a whole series going without you ever getting on the mic. How amazing is that? And your audience won't have to experience a break. That's another option. I've done that myself as well. And your content that is there is great. You have a whole new audience to share that with, which is your podcast audience. So take advantage of that, and also you want to make sure that in your mind, don't take this personal. Your show is not for everyone. My life is very, very different than a lot of people. And some people listen to my show for business. Some listen to it because they're interested in my legal career now. Some are listening because I had an autoimmune disease and I was misdiagnosed and they want to hear that story. There's a lot of listeners that, besides business, LinkedIn and podcasting, they want like social media tips or, it depends on what kind of show I'm pushing out. But some people don't want to hear about my legal drama. Some people don't want to hear about me, being misdiagnosed and all that anymore. It's like over and over again. Like, you don't need to hear that. You just want to tune in for podcasting. So here we are. Here's a podcast episode. Your shows are not going to be for everyone. And so you just don't need to take that personal. You'll see it in your numbers and you're like, wow, everybody's really listening to that legal show. Maybe I should start talking more about legal. So that's why it's great to have your end of month stats and your dashboard, whether you're using an app or a hosted platform, which I'm going to get into. Those numbers are available for you. And it's also great because you can export them for sponsors that want to see where you're at. Right now, this show is in 63 countries. I thought I'd hit 64, but I've been lingering at 63 for the last 3 weeks. And I'm just so excited to be sharing this show in 63 freaking countries. Like, it's literally unbelievable. And I'm so grateful for every single one of you listening, especially my crazy intense shows that I've been putting out lately. But that's my life. So keep tuning on in if you want to hear more of that. So let's see what's next on my list. So that's just some basic housekeeping. That's just some really important facts I wanted to get through first. The next item I want to go over with you guys is sponsorships and collabing, and then we're going to dive into the specific answers to the questions I was asked by the 5 followers I mentioned earlier. So sponsorships and collabing, you can start right now, like I just said earlier, if you already have a show, or you can get ready and make your little list of all the brands you would love to incorporate into your show, affiliate links, partnering, interviewing, all of that fun stuff. Have your messages already in your notes. Make sure that you have a personal connection. You want to create a relationship with them. Ask for emails, their contact info. This is the next step. When you have something, like I mentioned earlier, that's already drafted in your notes section, you copy and paste that. My specific formula is Instagram. So I send a DM on Instagram, I get a contact name and email, and then I email them my media kit and my personal bio and any other information they need. My media kit has my numbers, my stats, everything. My media kit is 6 pages. It's obnoxious, but that's just who I am, and I have a lot going on, and if you want to work with me, you need the full story. So there it is in 6 pages. So I actually just put one together for a client that's launching soon, and she's sending her media kit to her guest that she wants on board for her show for interviews. So we did that yesterday, and it can just be 1 page. Hers is 1 page. Keep it simple, right? Mine is simple as 6 pages though, which is insane. But I've also been doing this for 2.5 years, and my career is 20 plus. So there's just a lot of info you need to know, but I want to make sure that everybody's getting the full story on the Happy Workaholic. So there you go. So get on a phone call with whoever you are pitching. Hear their voice, especially if you're pitching a guest. Sometimes you have a relationship online and you get them on a call and it's not the same situation. So you want to make sure that your guests are going to enjoy interviews, right? So get on a call first. I just got pitched to be on a show and I'm like, let's set up a call. Like, I want to hear you, even though I've heard your episodes. Like, I want to talk to you before I get on a mic and you interview me. That's just my process. I'm very specific when it comes to things like that. My brand is my baby and yours should be too. So that's something I would highly suggest is just, even if it's like 5 or 10 minutes, just get on a call so you can hear each other's voices and move on from there. But creating a relationship first is just so important. You don't want to be pitch happy like the people that come into my inbox on LinkedIn that send me mile-long sales pitches. Like, it's just not cool. It's just not the world I want to live in these days. So I highly suggest you don't do that. Create a relationship and want to start a new one. Your show and your script will show how much energy and passion you have. So you want to have that in your deck, your media kit. Do your research, investigate these brands when it comes to sponsorships. If you are, let's just use Pepsi and Coca-Cola, for example. If you're pitching somebody that has, say you're a blogger, say you're a food blogger, and you have a contract with a Pepsi brand drink, but you didn't realize it was under the Pepsi umbrella because you're working with a small business owner in a little tiny restaurant in a tiny town, something like that. And then you're pitching a brand that's Coca-Cola affiliated. That's not going to work out, like, at all. So you need to do your research. I hope that example made sense. I worked in brands and sponsorships for a really long time, like huge events like Golden Globes. So these are the things that you have to spend the time doing your research. When you want to pitch a guest, you have to make sure that you guys are going to be in sync. Their message is something that your audience is going to want to hear. You don't want to offend anybody. You just really need, this is my number one. I swear I should be like a private investigator in my next life, because back to my legal case, like, that's all I've done. And I got that from working in brand deals. So that experience from brand deals. So I'm really, really good at investigations and doing my research. And I've said that for years. Like, I've always been preaching, like, you have to do your research. So when it comes time to bringing a brand on board or sponsors and guests and have interview style shows, you just want to make sure that the people that you're pitching are going to be right for your audience and your brand. You don't want to get hit hard with like some crazy, not scam. What's the word I'm looking for? Say they get bad press. Well, that bad press then comes to you because you had them on your show. So you just want to look out for yourself and all the others around you. But please do your research and your investigations and make sure that, you're scrolling through feeds, you're looking through their products, their brand, their services, who they've worked with before. And you want to make sure that you're giving your brand and your guests like an exclusive tip always. Like, you're also offering these brands and these guests that you have on an entirely new audience. So take advantage of that and make sure that you're doing the work up front. So those are my tips for you there for sponsorships and collabing and interviews and guests and all that. Also, what you want to do is really utilize LinkedIn. If you're not familiar on how to do so, send me a message. I can help you, because I've made the most money out of my career in a matter of days on LinkedIn. And that's why I became a LinkedIn coach. And now I feel like everybody's a LinkedIn coach. I am still working with a couple clients on LinkedIn right now, but I'm just over the spammy messages. I was talking to somebody on Instagram last night, and I'm like, actually, she's going to be on this show. I'm so excited for the next season, the third season for the I Chose This Life series. And she said, yeah, I used LinkedIn for work like a couple years ago. I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. But now it's like all spam. I don't want your mile-long sales pitch. I want you to like introduce yourself and like send me a voice memo and like, let's get on a call and like be friends and communicate and collab, or like whatever the hell you want to do. Like, I don't need your mile long sales pitch, because that to me just tells me you don't give a shit. That's going through Sales Navigator and through all channels on LinkedIn, and I don't even read them anymore. I used to get so annoyed. I would read them and get annoyed. I'm like, why do I even spend my time and energy on this? Like, I'm over it. But LinkedIn is your number one tool for investigations. So if nobody is looking at your DM, here's an example, and then we're going to move to the questions. And I was speaking to a client about this the other night, because sometimes at midnight she likes to get on Instagram and start DMing people. So I let her know, don't forget these brands you're doing this with. These are like 20-year-old interns sometimes, and they're out partying. They're not looking. You know, you want the person in charge. You always go to the top, always. So who is the director of marketing? Who is director of franchise? Who is director of advertising? How do you find that out? LinkedIn. Simple search. It's like your Google toolbar, same as LinkedIn. If they're not answering your DM and you've seen that they've seen it, you then go to the person that is in charge of sponsorships, marketing, advertising, whatever department you need to get a hold of. Sometimes you have to jump through a couple hoops. That's called life. And this is a lot of research and time that you have to do in order to get to the right person that you need. And also keep in mind, budgets are done way in advance. So if you're like, oh my God, I need $100 for like this podcast episode to go through, you're probably not going to get that. You need to plan way in advance. Like, I've done a year out before for a lot of things. And so please keep that in mind. But LinkedIn is your number one tool for investigations to get the name and the email of the person that you want in charge of the department, who you want to talk to in regards to sponsorships. So there you have it. If you're not on LinkedIn, get on it. But please don't send me a mile-long message. I know you won't. But again, if you need help in trying to figure that out, it's really simple. I'd love to help you. Just send me a message on Facebook and Instagram, or my email, or my website. So utilize LinkedIn. Please, please, please. That is how you're going to get the person in charge and create a relationship from there. Introduce yourself, send them a nice message, copy paste from your notes, customize it for them, and just start a relationship. You never know down the road, 2 years from now, what they're going to need from you or what company they're at now. And then it's like, boom, genius fit, like works out for everyone. You just never know. Okay, so now I want to, where are we at with time? 30 minutes. Okay, so I want to now get into, that was a lot of information, so feel free to rewind. I was going to say scroll back. Rewind, go back, and take some serious notes if any of that struck a chord with you, because this is everything. I'm giving you everything that's worked for me, my very specific strategies and things I do to implement and to take my own show to the next level, and things that worked and didn't work. So take my advice if you want it. Okay, now, questions. Noelle, Francesca, Life of a Radiohead, Chris, Brittany. I did all my research and my own investigations. So I'm answering your questions and then giving you some tips and ideas and strategies and content creation situations and like literally so much more. So I hope that you appreciate my feedback, and I hope that you are like ready to launch your show. Like, get with the program. If you want it, get it. Go get it. Don't sit on these ideas. Life's too short. There's always a way to do things. So Noelle is the founder of My Interview Buddy and a new program called Happily Hired. She asked how to batch content together. How do you get content together? Ideas, script, record. One day just writing scripts for several podcasts, and the next day recording. So Noelle is basically asking how to start putting the show together, as well as like her schedule and how to push it out is what I'm getting. So Noelle, turning my page. Here are my ideas for you. So you want to get a brand new notebook and start it as your podcast journal. Start brainstorming This show is obviously going to be an extension of your brand. So you want to line up content that you're already sitting on, maybe Facebook Lives, YouTube videos. As far as the scripts go, I have a document that I send to all my clients, and what they do is answer all these questions, and from them answering the questions is how I actually create the script for their intro, their outro, and their show description. You need to be able to capture your audience immediately with your show description and the intro that you're incorporating in the beginning of your very show. How do you do that? By answering these questions. So I'm going to give you these questions right now. You can write them down, and then when the time comes, you just answer them. This is part of the brainstorming process. Who is this show for? Where's my audience? How do I want to sound when I'm on the show? What do I want to talk about? So this is everything that I send my actual podcast clients. They answer for me. This is how I start writing scripts for all of them. So first question, who is this show for? Second, who will you be featuring on your episodes? Is it going to be a solo show? Are you going to incorporate different business owners, different style guests? What kind of content and conversations can listeners expect? Where can listeners find you? Why are you doing this type of content? Why are you creating this specific type of content? You want to share your purpose of why you chose a subject for this show. When will your show air? Once the intro, outro, and bio are done, you're good. Then you need to take notes for the actual show. That part, the brainstorming part, I can tell you will take the longest. And then when you need a name for the show, sometimes that comes right away. Sometimes it comes like 2 months down the road. Mine, the Happy Workaholic Podcast, is because my brand is the Happy Workaholic. You may want to do a spin-off of my interview buddy, or maybe call it Happily Hired, or anything else. And then from there, you want to always go to GoDaddy and buy the domain as soon as you think of an idea. If you use a new email, you can get it for 99 cents, flip it, sell it. You don't want it down the road, you're good to go. But the brainstorming process is what's going to take the most. And once you're done with putting your scripts together for the intro, outro, and show description, the only thing you need to worry about as far as scripts for each show are just notes. Normally, my episodes, I just have a page of notes. Sometimes I don't have any pages of notes. But today, I took a lot of time in answering all of these questions and this specific episode. So I have 4 pages of notes. But that's not normal. Usually it's one or none. So that is my response for you. I think I got everything. And then when it comes time to, sorry, I didn't answer, recording, you can definitely batch record. I've done that in the past. Like I've done 4 to 6 hours in a day. That's honestly exhausting, but it's a month and a half worth of content. So, depending on how many shows you're pushing out. But if you are, on a time schedule, and if you're, maybe working another job or with clients all the time, you need downtime for yourself to like pause, take a breath, brainstorm everything you want to talk about, and then get on the mic. And sometimes when you start, like you're going to be all fired up, first of all. So you're going to be banging those shows out, but then you need a break. And plus you want your voice to sound nice on the mic, so you don't want to be like groggy. I mean, I've actually recorded 1 million shows with bronchitis, so I shouldn't even say that, but just figure it out, figure out how your flow is, figure out like I can record 2 or 3 episodes at a time. So then in your own personal schedule, then some days you start to create the content for episodes. Some days you record. Some days you're just utilizing content that you're already sitting on and repurposing Facebook Lives and YouTube videos. And that's just converting the content from video to audio. And then you don't even have to get on the mic, like I said. So those are my answers for you, Noelle. And Francesca, you answered, how can I grow my audience? I feel like everything I'm doing, sorry, I can't even read my own writing because I took so many notes. How can I grow my audience? I feel like everything I'm doing is not getting me a consistent following. I'm asking my guests to promote this on their social media, and then she's also She said she's advertised on other podcasts. She's doing all of her editing, the likes, all of that. She's posting frequently. She's releasing consistently, and she's collabing with other shows. So her question basically is, what the hell do I do next? Why is my show not growing? First thing, I don't know your numbers. I don't know your goals. I don't know like where you want to be, but that really doesn't matter to answer this question. But just to be even more specific, I would need to know that. But what I can tell you is that it's time to get creative and really different and check out your competition. What is working? What are you not talking about? Do you have Instagram lives, Facebook lives, YouTube videos? Can you repurpose that for your audience? Have they seen it before? Can you extend on what that topic already was? Maybe your topic just needs to change. Maybe you can start pitching bigger guests, different style of guests that would be resonating with your audience. Maybe you have a very passionate audience about a specific topic. You need to poll them. Instagram stories is perfect for this. Ask questions, poll your audience. What can you share with them? What do you want to hear more of? I ask all the time. This is why I'm doing another podcast episode, because everyone wants podcast information. Not everyone has a budget to hire myself or any other podcast coach or producer. This is why I'm sharing everything that's worked for me in a specific podcast episode like the other two, 115 and 155 I mentioned earlier, because people want this information. So I'm giving it to them. So if what you're doing isn't working, this is like literally what I tell everybody, go to the store, get a brand new notebook, because this is how my mind works, and start from scratch. What can I do differently? Where can I stand out? What is it that my audience needs to hear? Maybe they're not listening. Maybe they're not listening to a type of show. This is why you need to look at your numbers. This is why you need an end of month stat Excel spreadsheet like the one I've created, or create your own, or just track it somewhere on your phone, anywhere. This is where you need to be looking at your dashboard and your numbers and your stats and seeing what is my audience listening to and what they're not listening to. And one thing to keep in mind, you're posting all the time on social media. I guarantee 10% of your audience is seeing that. You need to pay to play these days. This is why I live on Instagram stories, because it gets me the most traction for anything else. I have tried every other routine in social media land, and Instagram stories is my jam. That's where I've been living. And that's where I get the most engagement. That's where I get the most of the information I need for my own show and for anything in life, really. So maybe try that out if that's not working for you. But be different. Stand out. I understand you're frustrated. It's annoying and frustrating, like you're putting in all this work. The editing, that's excellent, but the content is more important than the edits, like the likes and the ums. I say it all the time. There's certain things I say. I don't heavily edit my show. Obviously, I just mentioned I had bronchitis for a really long time. I still got on the mic and recorded because my story and the information and the content I needed to share was way more important than the cough. And I'm sorry if I was coughing, but those shows have high numbers. So that just goes to prove like what I'm saying is true. So just dig deep. Get a brand new notebook and just think like, what can I do that's like fresh and exciting? And then get on Instagram stories. Utilize 11 hashtags. Why are people following you? What do they need to learn from you? What can you share? What are you passionate about? Switch things up. Maybe if that's too much, do a little mini series. I'm the queen bee of the series. If you haven't noticed, I'm working on 4 right now, 4 series. Because it's a great way to add a different style of content to the show you already have. You don't need to rebrand every some 3 to 6 months. Like I've seen this happen and that just doesn't make sense. It's very confusing to the audience. But when you start pushing out different type of series and mini series, that works out. And then you can see those numbers. You can even launch a series at the same time. I've done that before. Or launch a series, like a mini series. You can even do it private. You can have a paid membership. There's just so many ways. But what you need to do is just stop, take a break, start from square one. Like, what am I doing that's not working? What should I do that I'm so passionate about that I haven't shared yet? What type of content am I sitting on that my podcast audience hasn't heard? You have to keep that in mind. Like, your podcast audience is so different than your social media audience. And nobody's seeing your stuff on social. I mean, if you look at mine, there's no likes, but I get messages all the time. It's insane. So just do something different. Be strategic, be creative, like I mentioned earlier. That is my advice to you. I hope you take it and run. Next up, Life of a Radiohead. She on Instagram. Okay, her question. I'm like backwards. Her question is, I'm horrible with technology. How do I start? And then it says, being yourself and talking about, like, she wants to know what she should talk about. Either being herself and talking about what she likes, or should she cater to the audience? Okay, Life of a Radiohead. I didn't write down your first name. I'm so sorry. But my investigations, you, my friend, have a podcast on Anchor. Anchor has tutorials. You are already on there, but you don't have shows, which is probably why you're having it's because you have technical difficulties. I just want you to know that I launched this show 2.5 years ago on my iPhone. I still have clients that send me their MP3 files from their iPhone. Keep it simple, girlfriend. You need to just get on the damn mic and record. Anchor, you're already set up. I already looked at your show. Everything is there. And all you need to do is go into the app and press plus. And start. Just start. You're going to have the shittiest shows in the beginning. Well, I shouldn't say that. My shows were the shittiest. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But now that you have all my information, your shows will not be shitty. Your shows are going to be amazing. And they're going to be amazing because you have something that you're passionate about. I looked at your bio on your Instagram. And, oh my gosh, I didn't write the name of your show down, but I love the title and it's real and raw and like people need to hear your content. Shit, I can't believe I didn't write it down. So sorry. But I loved it. It's different. You're already different. You're already standing out. What you need to do is press the plus and record your first show. And if you are afraid to do that, that's where voice memos comes in. And I'm specifically recording my show on my phone right now so you can hear how well it sounds. The production aspect, Anchor already has included. I produce on Audacity on my desktop for my clients and my shows. So when I don't have time to plug in my mic and do all the things, like I've been up since 4:45. Like I'm on my second coffee. I have some serious content to bust out for you guys today on this episode. And I'm on my phone. I turn it on airplane mode and I edit the rest in production using Audacity software. You don't need any of that because you're already set up on Anchor. So you're like in it to win it. You just need to start recording. So as I said, if you're afraid to post the first episode, go into voice memos on your iPhone, or if you don't have an iPhone, I forget what it's called, but there's a voice recording app. There's actually like a ton of them. Record it and listen to it. Are you ready to upload that? Okay, then move forward and upload it. As far as that's the technical answer for you. As far as what you should talk about, again, going back to Instagram stories, you have a following, you have people following you there. I'm sure you're on Facebook and everywhere else, but utilize Instagram stories and do polls and questions and ask your audience, like, what do you want to hear? But my advice to you would be first to launch with a couple episodes and see where that takes you. Is it resonating with your audience? Do they want to hear more about that topic? Then you have something to play off of. That way you can say, do you like this episode or was it like too much sauce for you? Like, where do we go from here? So that would be my advice to you as far as the content. It doesn't make sense for you to spend time and energy recording content to cater to the audience that you're not passionate about. That's just my 2 cents on that. Like, that just doesn't make sense. If I were to have a podcast and I'm talking to you about like sewing, because my audience, like, nobody's following me for sewing. So like, why am I talking about sewing? People are following you because of a specific topic and because you're a real person and you have stories to share. So it's time to share them. So go on your voice memos this weekend and record your first episode. That's your homework and you better send it to me. Just kidding. But just send me a message on DM, and I'm going to tag you when this show goes live anyway. So just start recording and see how comfortable you feel. And Anchor has like all these little tech widget, I don't know why I just said widgets, but like you can literally just upload your show and it sounds amazing. Their audio quality is great. I have a secret show that's actually on there not many people know about. Actually, a few sponsors have found that before this. I don't know why it would come out first. It is available on all podcasting platforms like this one, but I haven't really pushed that out. That's my day in the life podcast, and my days in my life are so busy that I literally don't even have time to record on there. That was my like game plan, but right now, like as I mentioned earlier, I'm just kind of like taking a break from a lot of things, and that would be that. I'm recording 4 incredible series for this show, so having a second show to worry about right now is just like on the back burner. Like it just needs to pause for a bit, but I am very familiar with Anchor. A lot of my friends podcast on Anchor, and it literally takes 2 seconds. So again, please just start. You just need to start. And then when you launch your show, you share it to your audience. Do you like this episode? Do you want to hear more of this? Do you want to hear more of a specific topic? Let me know. Poll them. Instagram stories. Boom. Done. You're good to go. And you can start getting paid by CPMs on Anchor right away from episode 1. So that just goes to show you there's money in it from the very beginning. So just talk about what you're passionate about and then cater to your audience later when you know what the hell they want to hear from you regarding a specific topic. So that is my 2 cents for you. Next up, we have Chris. Okay. So Chris asked, where's your question? How to get started and coming up with a good topic. Okay, Chris, I've been following you for a long time and you have a lot going on. So I would say a good topic would be what you're passionate about. So right now, I'm just going to give you a couple examples, but I could be wrong. Maybe aviation, concierge, travel, photography, money, community. I think you're part of Andy Frisella's program. And why am I drawing a blank? I was going to do that, but then it was like too much for me this month, but I think you're in it. That's huge. That's like taking your business, life, and brand to a whole nother level. You should be talking about that. Arte Syndicate. That's what it is. If you're not a part of it, maybe you should be a part of it next year. It's amazing. I wish I had the time to do that this year, but for sure next year, because I too follow them and they're just like genius. So if you're passionate about these topics I just mentioned, there's your content. You just need to write it down, what you want to talk about, and start recording. On apps like Anchor, yes, you can do that. If you want to host it, I use Blueberry. They have the best customer service ever. I've been using them from day one. They host and syndicate my show. It's now in 63 countries. My dashboard is full of my stats. If somebody messages me on Instagram and wants my numbers immediately and they don't give a shit about my media kit, they get them immediately because it comes right from my dashboard. I like to keep it simple. Everything is there. You are also in San Diego. I saw the other day that you posted, you were in Old Town because I commented. And I feel like you could also do a series based on San Diego-based businesses. They would love that. Getting partnerships with local businesses and brands when you travel with the concierge, that would also be huge. Those are also affiliate links. So another way for you to make money is on your website, on your shop page, include all these links. I forget the concierge one and if you're still doing that, but I remembered it, so I wrote it down. But you just need to start writing down ideas, start writing down the content, just scrolling through your Instagram. This is what I came up with. And I know you a little bit from social media. So, that's my input for you. So, Brittany, you are next. Actually, Chris, sorry, one more thing. The technology part, I feel like you could get, but if you don't, well, I did mention this, you can totally use Anchor because it's an app and super simple. I am an affiliate for both Anchor and Blueberry, so you can check the show notes and sign up there if you want. But I would just start, with Blueberry, you get 1 month free hosting, and the cost is only $12. I paid $20 for each month because I push out a lot of content. Like my shows are longer, but almost all of my clients only pay $12. So that's your only cost. That's something I didn't mention in the show. The only cost to podcasting, if you have one, would be your domain and your monthly hosting. Libsyn is more old school and more expensive, and I haven't heard great things about their service, but everybody has their own companies that they like to work with. I prefer Blueberry. So with Blueberry, you get 1 month free, but you don't want to do that until you're actually ready to launch. But you can just start recording on apps like Anchor. So I will have those links in the show notes, but I wouldn't even worry about that right now. I would just worry about the content. And you can even do different types of series, like I said, because you have a lot going on. And I believe you're married, and I think your wife has a business too. So you could even do like a husband and wife series and talk about money, or I forget what else that she was doing. I looked at this a while ago. But you could, husband and wife teams on podcasts are really popular right now. So it's great to hear like a different perspective. So you can even talk to her and write down ideas. Maybe if she's interested, and you guys can do like a husband and wife series, or maybe just make it a whole show. That's another idea for you. So I hope that you enjoyed my feedback and my tips. Let me know. Brittany, you are up next. Brittany is a follower from Instagram, and her question was very broad. And it was, how do I start? Brittany, I have so many ideas for you. And you are my last one. This is going to be a lot longer than I thought. Oh my gosh, we're at 54 minutes. So, Brittany, okay, how do I start? I've already gone over all the technical part. If you have any other questions regarding that, let me know. But I took an in-depth look at your Instagram. And this is all of my feedback is coming from just looking at your Instagram, okay? So you have so many things that you can talk about on your podcast. And this is where you need to start. You need to figure it out. So go to your favorite little store, buy a brand new notebook, and that's going to be your podcast journal, girlfriend. And you are going to write down everything that you want to talk about. From my perspective, looking at your Instagram, which by the way is beautiful, you have the best images. You have a lot of fitness, family, your girl gang. By the way, your wedding photos are incredible, and I love that blue scheme. Outdoors, travel, clean eating, client reviews. But I don't know exactly what type of coach you are, because it's not on your website. It's not on your Instagram bio. Your website isn't there, but your email list is there. So if I'm signing up for your email list, like, who am I talking to? So I think that your Instagram bio should be updated and literally spell it out for people. I am an XYZ coach. I help XYZ women get to XYZ point. See what I'm saying? Be very, very specific. But I took a lot of time and I went through your feed to come up with some ideas for you. So first of all, update your Instagram bio when the time comes. If you don't need to do it right now, if you don't want to do it, totally don't do it. But this is just my 2 cents from a business standpoint. Okay. I can literally just picture your podcast intro music being dance music, because you were a cycle instructor. So you have like all this like Vegas club music. It made me like miss Vegas for like only 2 seconds, but like that type of EDM, super hyped up dance music. That's your personality. People are used to hearing that from you. And then you have this emotional intro of, not super emotional, but like telling your story and why you have this show. You always want to be passionate, share your story. You have a lot of followers. They already know who you are, what you do, what you love. It's all over your Instagram feed, which is how I came up with this feedback for you. So talk about that. Talk about the water challenge you did. Poll the groups that you're in. Poll that group that followed you for that water challenge. Utilize. I also noticed that you took a little hiatus. Congrats on that, because we all need one of those. And now you're back. So utilize Instagram stories. Ask your followers, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. What do you want to hear about? That goes back to answering Noelle's question, which is, all the questions that I ask my clients in a form they fill out for me, so that we can start creating the scripts for their intro, their show description, their outro. So you want to do the same thing. you want to make sure that you're talking to the right audience. Your audience is already on Instagram, so you can get information from them. When it comes to, if you want to have an interview on, a guest on your show, have interview style episodes, you can interview the guests that have left amazing reviews that you have a highlight for already on your Instagram. I went through them all early this morning, and there's a lot, and they're amazing. So why wouldn't you just start off your podcast with a series that can launch, you could do 1 or 2 shows a week, totally up to you, or launch with 1 episode, your solo shows, and then introduce a series like a month later, which is all about the guest perspective. Your client's perspective, what it's like to work with you and what they learned from you and how they're moving on in the future, eating healthy, losing weight, and whatever else it is that you're working on. Maybe you might be like a little bit of a life coach too, but fitness and food I got for sure. So make that really specific in your Instagram bio. And also, if you don't have a website, that's fine. Maybe you have an amazing Facebook group, or maybe you don't have one at all, but you can use Linktree to put in your Instagram bio to have multiple links, not just your email. But props to you for the email, because collecting emails is so important. But I want to know what I'm signing up for. And that wasn't clearly said in Instagram bio, but I'm totally going to sign up just because now I know who you are and what you do, and everything, because I did my research and investigated and literally went through your whole Instagram feed. Not whole, but a lot. So what else? I'm looking at your hashtags. Well, I looked at your hashtags, and you have, I think you're in Arizona, and you are hashtagging Silver Lining Wellness. So maybe that's the company you're with, or we're with, or there's a community around that. I'm not sure. But I think you're still in Arizona. So what I would do for other interviews for your show, or if you just want to have guests on all the time, or just another idea for you for content, would be interview those owners or interview people that you've worked with in Arizona. I think you're in Tempe. Or other fitness professionals or business professionals or food related. Maybe have like a healthy chef come on and talk about like recipes, whatever. I mean, you might not even care about any of this. I'm just giving you like random ideas because this is how my mind works. But for content, like there's so much that you can do regarding fitness, family, your girl gang, your followers, your outdoors, your travel, your clean eating, your coaching. You can even have like a private audio where people have to pay for membership to get your coaching and make it audio and not video. You could do something like that too. So those are, that's a lot of tips for you right there. And then in order to record, you can just use voice memos on your iPhone and upload to a host like Blueberry, have a website design and all that fun stuff. Or you can just get on Anchor. So it's really up to you, but you want to make sure you're putting in the time, the energy, the passion, and just create what you wish existed. Create something new and exciting. And I'm pretty sure, okay, so the first 3 photos I saw on your Instagram feed were you're back from Europe and you took a social media hiatus. So now you're like ready to go. And you just posted it. You put it in one of your captions that something is exciting, like something new is happening in fall, like you're excited, and you're excited because you took that break. And I'm glad that you did that, because not a lot of people realize like we need breaks. We all need a break. I want my next break to be in Europe, so I'm #very jealous, but next summer that will be happening. However, now you're like in it to win it. You're back in the game. Like, what do I want to create? Well, I just give you a shitload of content that you can take and run with it. And if you have any other questions, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you. But you have so much going on, and you can just like feel your energy and your passion, and you have a ton of reviews, and you have a ton of followers, and you have great captions. Like, it's time for your podcast. You get that journal, you start fresh, you start writing down ideas, and you are good to go. So I think I answered everything there. I did. Oh my gosh, you guys. It's an hour show. Legit hour show. But this was very thorough. I wanted to make sure I gave you every little last tip and trick I had and answered these listeners very, very specifically because I said that I would. And I hope that everybody else listening, you got so much information out of this episode. I put so much work into this. Oh my gosh, it's an hour and 2 minutes. So please reach out if you have any questions. Also, I am an affiliate, like I mentioned, for Anchor and Blueberry. If you have any questions about how to use them, just reach out. Facebook and Instagram at The Happy Workaholic. Everything I mentioned will be in the show notes. My hairstylist, so that you can check them out. Specifically the one in San Diego, because I put her link tree there for her, and you can see her Amazon store. Affiliates make money. Catch the point here. So I'm putting that there as an example. And also, if you're in San Diego and need amazing hair, you can use her, or her cousin Lana that is in Vegas, use her too. And then my affiliate links for Anchor and Blueberry, and then where you can find me online. I will also drop the social media end of month stats Excel spreadsheet link for you there. And again, if you don't want to sign up for my email to receive it, it's fine. Just reach out and I'll email you the document. Totally fine. Anything I've mentioned in the show, you can find at thehappyworkaholic.com on my shop page. That's where all my affiliates link. Oh my God, I can't speak because it's over an hour. That's where all my affiliate links live. I have a ton on there. By listeners shopping through my affiliates helps support the production of my shows, and they will do the same for you. So if you're not using Airbnb, Uber, Redbox, GoDaddy, Blueberry, Amazon, eBay, Anchor, all of those live on my shop page. So those help alleviate some of the cost for productions of the show, my time and energy. So I appreciate when you shop through me, which people will shop. Your listeners, rather, will shop through you on your website. So that's just a prime example. So everything will be in the show notes. If you guys have any questions about any of my programs, there's two. There's Start Your Podcast Today, which you can find on the Happy Workaholic podcast. That's 2 hours of coaching calls. But basically, after this show, I think that you'll be good to go. And then Your Podcast Production, which you can also find on thehappyworkaholic.com, is my full in-depth coaching and production situation. And I only have one spot available for October. So if you're interested, let me know. If not, you can share it with a friend. If not, you don't have to share anything at all. I'm just putting it out there. I actually have 7 shows in pre-production right now that I'm so excited for you guys to hear. I've been working with these clients for months, and they should be coming out fall, winter as well. So stay tuned for that. But again, if you guys have any other questions about anything podcasting, this is like the longest podcast episode about podcasting. I hope that you will reach out to me. I spent so much time doing my researching, doing my investigating, and coming up with all these answers for you guys because I got so many questions, especially when it came to sponsorships and collabing and making money and all that fun stuff. But again, go back and listen to episode 115, how to launch, episode 155, how to market and monetize, and then this is 173, and I am wrapping it up. I'm so glad you're here to the end. And one more friendly reminder now that we're done. Please, 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 if you loved this episode or any others or hated it or want to hear something else, let me know. You can do so by leaving me a review on iTunes/Apple Podcast right now. So go ahead and do that. Screenshot, send it to me. Let me know. I'll send you a little treat, a little gift from me to you. And spread the show. Share it with somebody that you feel needs this type of information. They need to hear it. They need to learn about podcasting. They want to learn more about their mind, their body, their business, anything. But please help me get these reviews. I'm like on a mission to get 200 by my 200th episode, and I'm nowhere near. But you better believe it's like hustle time. I am snapping and I'm ready and I'm going. So thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. If you liked this episode, please share it with someone who you feel needs to hear this message. And don't forget to tag me at The Happy Workaholic on Facebook and Instagram so I can feature you on my stories. And if you have 2 minutes and listening on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, I would love it if you could leave me a review. Those messages mean so much to us podcasters, and they really help me create more of the content that you'll love. Want to continue today's conversation? It's simple. Head to Facebook and search for the Happy Workaholic Network Facebook group. Answer the questions and you're in. For more information on myself, coaching programs, weekly newsletter, and more, visit thehappyworkaholic.com. The Happy Workaholic Podcast is part of the iHeartRadio Podcast Network. Be sure to follow the Happy Workaholic Podcast on iHeartRadio or subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. I hope that your day continues to be happy, healthy, positive, and productive, and I'll talk to you again soon.